we have what we call modernization of agriculture has been embarked, has been undertaken. Okay. You know what modernization of agriculture involves. Okay. The better methods of production is part of that. Okay. There are examples like agricultural mechanization, use of the machines and so on. All that is part of modernization of agriculture. The new methods of, of production, okay, inefficient methods of production. That's part of modernization of agriculture. Now, you need to tell us how modernization of agriculture has helped reduce income inequality. You tell us research programs in agriculture have been undertaken with an aim of increasing output. Research programs. Okay. When you go to Kawanda, you will see these things. Research in what? Better breeds. Okay. High yielding what? Crops. That is research in high yielding crops. Crops that are high what? That are resistant to diseases. Okay, and many others. Okay, so that is what happens. So research programs in agriculture have been undertaken with an aim of increasing output in the sector for commercial purposes. Now, what has happened? This has increased the incomes of rural farmers because they're able to produce for the markets. For commercial purposes, is producing in large amounts. Now, this has increased the incomes of farmers, rural farmers, thereby narrowing the gap between the rural farmers and those engaged in other occupations, okay, or those engaged in what we call in industries, okay. The next, there is further privatization of public enterprises has been undertaken. Further privatization. Now, remember, members, who's talking? Ochuko, are you the one? Ochuko? Ochuko?
Yes.
Hey, are you the one talking in the background?
No.
Hey, okay. Now, I was saying that further privatization of public enterprises has been undertaken. Why are we saying further privatization? That word further. It means that privatization has been undertaken by the government, but what we are saying, it has continued to privatize more enterprises, to transfer the ownership, okay, of these enterprises to the hands of the private individuals. It has continued to do that. That's why I say further privatization of public enterprises, okay. Now, after stating that, it has been undertaken. We say privatization of public enterprise has resulted in efficiency in privatized what? Farms. Efficiency in privatized farms. And it is in bold to show you that that word is very important. Okay. Therefore, more jobs have been created in these enterprises. The employed people earn income, and this has helped to reduce income inequality. So you must show in explanation how income inequality has been reduced. You must show in your explanation. It's very clear there. Then next is further liberalization of the economy has been carried out. What is liberalization of the economy? There's something that is not clear there. Someone is talking in the background. Okay. Now, further liberalization of the economy has been carried out. Liberalization refers to the removal of unnecessary controls, to economic activities. I repeat, liberalization refers to the removal of unnecessary controls to economic activities, hence giving liberty to people to carry out economic activities without any government controls, okay, or without government restrictions, without government interference, and so on. So it gives people that freedom to carry out economic activities, to engage in economic activities without any of those controls. Now we are saying further liberalization of the economy has been carried out. Remember, the government has already liberalized the economy, but it is continuing to remove other controls and restrictions, hence giving people liberty to do what? Carry out economic activities. Now, how has it helped to reduce income inequality? Now, trade liberalization has created a conducive environment for the investors to carry out trade with minimal interference from the government. I repeat, trade liberalization has created a conducive environment for the investors to carry out trade with minimal interference from the government. Now, this has enabled people to earn incomes from different economic activities carried out, and the income gap among people has reduced. Now, which trade activities do we mean here? When you go to town, you are going to see them. There are very many trade activities you can see. There are people who are engaged in let's say in forex bureaus. People are engaged. People go and import goods from out, okay, from abroad. They bring that here. There are people who are who export goods abroad. Those are all trade activities, okay? So there is minimal government interference. So they are able to earn some income, hence reducing the gap between the rich and the poor, okay? So that has to, you need to bring out that explanation very clearly, members. The next is the development of small-scale industries has been encouraged. Remember, the language is very clear, has been encouraged because of the tense. Full stop. Now, how has that enabled, or how has it reduced income inequality? Now, through such enterprises, more employment opportunities have been created, and people are able to earn income from such employment. This has minimized income disparity in the country. You've had the president and the government encouraging people to set up small-scale industries, okay? That's why we say that the development of small-scale industries has been encouraged. They simply encourage people to set up these industries, okay? When you move around, once again, you are going to look at these industries. You move around, you'll find there are industries on small scale. Of course, that employ 1 to about 50 people, okay, or 1 to 25. Those are small scale industries. The number of employers they employ, they absorb, there are not so many, there are few. The capital base is also small, okay. Yes, the capital base is also small, so that is called a small scale industry. And those small scale industries are able to create employment opportunities, much as there are few people. Those people who are employed, they earn income from that employment, and income disparity is minimized. The next one is affordable credit has been provided to investors or producers. We'll stop. Lending through microfinance institutions, MFI is called microfinance institutions, has been encouraged by the government, okay? When you say affordable, it means that loans with the low interest rates are affordable, okay? Now, this has enabled people to access lower interest loans to set up and finance income generating projects. This has reduced income gap among people in the country. Clearly, you can see that it brings out the how bit in your explanation. When you're going to explain, you don't need to explain a lot, but answer the question how in your explanation, and the subject is going to be so much interesting for you. The next is implementation of reforms in the land tenure system has been undertaken. emphasis has been put on land registration so that the landowners can acquire land titles. Okay, because if you have a land title, then you can be able to put up a productive activity within that land, because you know that you are the sole, you have the sole ownership of that land. Now, this has enabled landowners to carry out economic activities on the registered land because they have security of ownership. Very clear there. This has created more income, generating more income for people, thus creating reduction in income inequality. The political climate has been improved. You know, in Uganda, remember, we are giving a reference to Uganda. Political stability in many areas of the country has provided a conducive environment, conducive investment climate. Now, political stability is also an incentive to investment because it encourages people to invest in setting up productive activities. Okay. Now, of course, as more people get employed, the income gap among people is reduced or is minimized. Diversification of the economy has been undertaken. Now, you don't need to ask me what diversification means. Diversification means a variety, okay? There's a variety of economic activities within the economy. And it's clear there a variety of economic activities have been set up so that the country does not depend only on agriculture as a dominant sector. You know, in Uganda, the dominant sector is agriculture. I think you have started doing something on the structure of Uganda's economy. And you will see that when you're looking at the structure of Uganda's economy, you see that agriculture is a dominant sector, is a leading sector, in other words, because of the different linkages it has with other sectors. Apart from that, agriculture also employs over 68% of Ugandans, okay? It also contributes to about 68% to GDP, okay, of Uganda. So that makes it a dominant sector to other sectors. Now, these activities include tourism. Those are the various economic activities, industrialization, fishing, mining, etc. Now, many people have been able to earn a living from this, therefore reducing the income gap among people in the country. You have the other one is education reforms have been implemented. Okay, institutions have been set up to train people in skills like carpentry, construction, catering, tailoring, plumbing. You know some of these institutions. Okay, when you go to MTAC here, you will see one there. When you go to YMCA, all those are institutions that train people on catering, construction, wiring, plumbing, and so on, many others, okay? And tailoring in some of the institutions, not particularly those ones, but others. Okay, this has been intended to train people who are job creators so that they are able to earn incomes from these occupations in which they have been trained, thereby reducing income inequality in Uganda. The investment climate has been improved, okay? How? Investment climate has been improved in such a way that the government has provided tax holidays, subsidies, and other incentives to provide investors incentives to provide investors geared at setting up economic activities like industrialization to create employment opportunities for the people, thereby reducing income inequality, and so on. So you have those ones. Our time is almost up. We have about 4 to 5 minutes. I will stop there for that one there. You have those review questions. Please go and go through those review questions. One of them is suggest the measures that should be taken. Now, measures that should be taken is a suggestive question. Suggestive. Suggestive means you are going to use either should or may or can. Now that is what we call future tense. That question requires you to use future tense. So you're going to turn those points, the ones you have there, to answer that question. Okay? The ones you have there, it's just a matter of turning the language and then you answer the question. Okay? And the what? The what is very clear there, the approach. Then question 2, they explain the measures that are being taken. Now that is present continuous. Being taken means you are going to use what you call the noun tense or the present continuous tense. This time you're going to have ing. Progressive taxation is being implemented, So is very important there. And ing, very important. So you're going to turn those points once again to answer that question clearly there. And lastly, why is there a need to reduce income inequality in your country? That one is asking for the reasons, okay? And they've given you some of the approaches there to check rural-urban migration and its associated evils. So you're going to turn the what? You're going to turn the what? You're going to turn the positive outcomes. No, you're going to turn the negative outcomes into reasons. Turn the negative outcomes into reasons. Okay, I have talked a lot. We have about 2 to 3 minutes. Maybe you can say something before we finally close. Any question? Ochuku?
Yes.
Any question?
I don't have any question yet.
Good. Now, the rest of the students, I will not ask one by one because the time is limited. I ask you to go through those questions, get the answers to those questions. Please have them, plus the explanations. Okay? Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
That will be the end of income inequality. But the next time we meet on Friday, we're going to look at consumption and saving. Please copy the notes. Please copy the what?
The notes.
You have all the notes of consumption and saving. There are some calculations there. Where there are calculations, do not write anything. We are going to do it together. So on Friday, we're going to look at that. On Tuesday, we have a test. I've told you the test is on income inequality or income distribution. So can you read about that? It's going to be online, okay? Is it okay, students?
Yes. Yes, it's okay.
Hey, yes, you should actually be jumping high that yes, we have a test. Yes, we have a test. And now you should be jumping. Yes, I want you to read. So we are going to read and we are going to pass. We're going to do well. It's going to be online, just on income inequality. Just read about only that. Plus, up to the end, up to the review questions, we shall see how to examine you. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, thank you for attending, and I wish you a wonderful evening.
Likewise.
Okay. So please come in bigger number. Yes, come in bigger numbers on Friday. Okay. Namuli, I expect to see you on Friday as well. Okay. Thank you for attending and all the best.
All the best to you.
All right.